Joining us now to discuss that is Naftali Bennett. He is Israel's Minister of Education, a member of the Security Cabinet, and is also a major in the commando unit of the Israeli Defense Force, the IDF. Mr. Minister, welcome. Thank you for joining us here in New York.
Great to be here.
Will the airstrikes be enough? Will bombing Raqqa be enough? What must the world do to take apart and defeat the ideology behind radical Islamic terrorism?
Well, Eric, the free world can defeat ISIS within about 10 weeks if there's a concerted, determined effort on ground. I'll tell you what we did, what my soldiers and I did about a decade ago. We faced a very similar situation. We were seeing dozens of attacks of car bombs in Israel, in Tel Aviv, in Jerusalem, every month. We had 130 Israelis murdered in the March of 2002, and then we acted. What I did with my soldiers, we went to their territory. We hunted them out. We went house to house and dug them out of their holes at 3 a.m., got them in their beds. You capture one, you interrogate them, you get 5 more terrorists, you go after them. And within about 2 months, we brought down terror to nearly zero. Now we're at zero bombs in Israel. So terror can be defeated, but you need to have a concerted effort.
Well, who's going to do that?
Well, I'm not in the business of telling the free world what to do. What I can say is that the air attacks are good. They create pressure, they limit movement, and they also hurt the revenues coming from the oil exports of ISIS, which is generating about $50 million of revenue for ISIS a month. But that's not enough. Drones will never replace a soldier that goes underground, gets the terrorist, gets information, and goes on.
But the problem is getting that soldier to get boots on the ground. I mean, President Obama has ruled that out. We do have some special ops on the ground there, more increasing. But who will do that? I mean, the Iraqi forces have, they've suffered some defeats. How about the Arab allies? How about other Sunnis? Do you think, is there a possibility that that could happen to try and root out these ISIS terrorists, as you say, as Israel did with what you faced?
Well, the key is to find troops that will be determined and persistent. You know, ISIS has a slogan, to endure and to grow. Their goal is to just stay tight and grow. They're very skilled, very determined. There's about 35,000 ISIS fighters. The West has 100 times the power, the Air Force, but you need to muster all of this into a concerted effort on Mosul, on Raqqa, and you can win. You can win, but you have to have...
Do you think if, excuse me for interrupting, do you think that if we can take Mosul back, do you think if Raqqa can be taken back, that could be the beginning of the end?
Absolutely, because, you know, their endurance is an inspiration for the next people they recruit. There might be a 16-year-old Muslim kid that sees how they're enduring, but without them having those bases, they won't be able to inspire the next generation. And there's a rule that I've learned with my own soldiers. Terrorists are always in one of two states. Either they're being killed or they're out killing. There's no middle ground. You can't work diplomacy with them. You can't talk to them. You have to hunt them. And I remember from my days in Lebanon that when we were hunting them, they had no bandwidth to go kill Israelis. And that's when we saw quiet, when we were out hunting them. But when we went on the defensive, that's when we got hurt.
Finally, but do you think this will actually happen? Do you see a force, no matter what is the force consists of, that actually will carry out what you say should be done?
Look, the free world is facing a huge challenge of what kind of world do we want? Do we want a free, open world, or do we want a savagery? Because that's what it's about. These ISIS folks, what they place in the Sharia law with zero human rights, zero rights for women, and it's horrible what they're doing, but we can defeat them. And I think now the world understands that if we go after them, if we clear out the swamps where the swamps are and not fight the mosquitoes, we can win. The choice belongs to us.
Well, the world seems to understand that now, but those forces, as you say, not yet deployed yet. We'll see how that happens. Minister Naftali Bennett of Israel, the Education Minister and Security Cabinet Member, thank you for coming in, and thank you for your insight in what you faced all these years in your nation.
Thank you, Eric.